Be with me, Jesus, I ask you to stay. Comfort my worries through the night until day. In the darkness, Lord Jesus, I am the devil's prey. So I beg of you, please just stay in the morning.
Put out by Hamas revealed chilling details about the years of preparations that went into Saturday's bloody attacks right under Israel's nose. Analyzing metadata from the videos, a CNN investigation can reveal the presence of at least 6 training sites inside Gaza, one just 720 meters from the most heavily fortified and patrolled part of Israel's border. In that camp, Hamas recreated an Israeli compound with elements of the nearby border crossing, including an insignia of the Erez battalion. The videos show they even practiced taking prisoners and zip-tying their hands at the camp. Satellite imagery indicates the camp was constructed within the last year and a half. At 2 other locations in the southern part of Gaza, Hamas trained for their audacious paraglider assault, rehearsing takeoffs and landings. At all 6 sites, 2 years of satellite imagery reviewed by CNN shows no indication of offensive Israeli military action. The imagery instead shows that in the last 2 years, some camps even expanded into surrounding farmland, and that there was activity in the last several months at the camps. The stunning revelations raise questions as to how Hamas was able to train so openly, so close to the border for so long, and why Israeli officials were unable to pick up on and
What did
I
you?
believe the cup of iniquity is overflowing for the United States. And not only that, it was Henry Groover who saw that. I could not think of
Yes.
his name, but it was Henry Groover who saw the destruction of the United States because God asked him at one point how he would feel towards him if he allowed some, his to lose his wife. And if I remember right, he said his wife and his family. And Henry said he had to really think about that, and he prayed about it. And he told him, I trust you. But of course, that didn't happen to them. But I think it was one of those tests,
Yeah, that
one
does
of
that.
those God tests. But yeah, he did. He saw the destruction of the United States. I was going to say, well, where was I? Um, what were we talking about? Oh, the splitting of the United
Yeah.
States, the division of the United States, when that occurs with Israel. When they allow Islam to take that part of their land, that's coming for the United States. Not only that, but the sun is in a pole shift, a magnetic pole shift, and this occurs throughout history. But we're having massive CMEs that are coming extremely close to the earth. And the word of God tells us that the earth will be destroyed by fire.
Yep.
Um, and that men will be scorched in Revelation. So, but also the earth is in a magnetic pole shift. It has started. And when that happens, it causes more earthquakes, it wreaks havoc. And
Um,
if I understand correctly, that's what happened during the days of Noah, or part of it.
Well, the ice starts melting when that pole shift happens. Where it's hot, it's cold. Where it's cold, it's hot. And if you have all these glaciers, and this has already been happening for a little while, and it's escalating. It's getting worse and worse. They're just like falling into the ocean, melting. I mean, this is what's happening with the pole shift
Yeah.
that she's talking about. This is the global warming that everybody talks about. But this is biblical. This is,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, where we're seeing, okay, it also increases the earthquakes because it affects the earth. And as we see these earthquakes, we've already had three that have been so massive that they've caused the North Pole to shift towards Russia. And there's a measurable time change or time difference. And as this occurs more and more and they become worse or bigger earthquakes, the North Pole will end up in Russia. And it also is going to cause more of the tsunamis, the massive tidal waves, and people have seen those. Those have been prophesied for a long time too. I know even Perry Stone has talked about that for a long time. So people have seen enormous, like your son did, the enormous waves hitting New York and other
yeah,
places.
yeah, like
So
Florida. And that's it's
yeah,
it's literally going to hit both sides and the middle. And then what's left? It's like a dividing point. Russia will have one side, China the other, and
right,
yeah, that'll be that. This is why there will be no more United States.
right. No. Um,
And this is when
These
when
are
all
also
this.
plans from Hell's Kitchen, like Russ Dizdar always said. So,
It certainly is. And when all
yeah,
this happens, the whole world will change in an instant. And this is when the beast system well, it's already going in that direction. It's already set up that when they do their depopulation plan and they get everything the way that they want it, they already have it all set up for the New World Order. It will be very controlled. It would be very hard to survive. Although God's elect will be led and taken care of. We won't die if it glorifies the Lord, and be prepared for that. A lot of
yes,
you think
that's
you're
a
getting raptured out before one single solitary thing happens. I don't know. Have you been paying attention to what we were just talking about? Persecution's happening everywhere. People are dying for their faith in China, in Russia, in Iran, Iraq, just Middle East, everywhere in the world, people are dying for their faith right now. If you think that God is somehow going to just look at history, look at the apostles. What happened to them? Please tell me how they, just got supernaturally, just not a thing ever happened to them. They died for their faith.
Another thing that God was showing Stan Johnson was that there will be a great awakening, because he said there will be a lot of Christians who will die, and when this occurs with the split of the United States, when it divides. And Stan was like, well, I mean, and God said,
Pretty sure.
but it rains on the just and the unjust.
Oh,
Yeah, that this is going to take a lot of Christians home. It not only will there be a lot of people who are unsaved die, but there will also be Christians. And that's what God told him. It rains on the just and the unjust, and those will be home with me.
yeah.
So, or something to that effect is what he.
I remember. It's been a long time. Yeah, maybe next
Yeah.
week we can actually go over that one if you want.
Yeah.
We should,
And
because it's been a while since I listened to his testimony. I think we
yeah.
should go over the whole thing.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to mention was to introduce Brainbridge. I don't know if anyone's heard of Brainbridge, but I've heard a lot of Christians, and I've been in on those discussions talking about that we believe that, yeah, they think that they can cause mankind to live for hundreds of years. And this surgery is where they will take, it's using AI robotics to perform the surgery, and they will have the donor and the recipient there together. They will take the head of the recipient and put it on the donor body when that their body's unhealthy and they need a new body. They'll take their head, brain intact, put it on the new body, and they will then, once this is successfully completed, they will transfer the face and implant it on. They remove the face and put on, the person's face onto their new head and body. And
Imagine you were just diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and your doctor tells you there's nothing they can do except swap out your current body for a new one while still keeping all of your memories and consciousness intact. Would you do it? This may be a common decision to make in the very near future, as Brainbridge just unveiled what it plans to be the world's first intelligent robotic system designed to perform complete head transplants. It uses state-of-the-art robot arms, hands, and artificial intelligence to ensure the procedure is precise, efficient, and successful. In fact, this groundbreaking technology would even allow humans to live indefinitely if they so choose. But how does it actually work, and what are the chances of its success? Importantly, Brainbridge currently plans to execute this procedure with a sequence of 7 crucial steps, starting with Step 1, preparation. This process starts by preparing both the donor and recipient. The donor is a brain-dead patient with a healthy body, while the recipient is someone whose head will be transplanted onto the new body, with both patients receiving general anesthesia and undergoing a tracheotomy first for respiratory support. Step 2, cooling. To minimize brain damage, both the recipient's head and the donor's body are cooled to approximately 5 degrees Celsius. This cooling step is crucial for maintaining the viability of the brain during the detachment process. Step 3, separation. Using advanced real-time molecular-level imaging systems, Brainbridge carefully separates the heads from the two bodies, with special attention being given to preserving the spinal cord and key blood vessels. Step 4, reattachment. The recipient's head is then positioned next to the donor's body, where Brainbridge connects the head to the donor's circulatory system to maintain blood flow. The spinal cord, esophagus, trachea, nerves, and blood vessels are also meticulously reconnected using ultra-precision surgical instruments. Step 5, chemical adhesive. Next, a special adhesive called polyethylene glycol is applied to the spine, to help reconnect severed neurons, and a specialized implant is placed in the epidural space to promote neuron repair while ensuring the brain forms new neural connections with the body. Step 6. Face and scalp transplant. The recipient's face and scalp are replaced with those of the donor, restoring functionality and improving aesthetic appearance. This new skin is also treated with a special spray to promote healing and prevent infections. Step 7. Post-surgery care. After the surgery, the recipient is kept in a coma for up to 4 weeks to ensure proper fusion of the spinal cord. During this time, life support systems regulate breathing and circulation, and nutrition is delivered through a feeding tube while the patient recovers. And in terms of the recovery and rehabilitation process required after such a complex procedure, the approach is multifaceted. For this, physical therapy and psychological support are crucial for helping the recipient adapt to their new body and regain their motor functions. On top of this, BrainBridge also uses a brain-computer interface headband to allow patients to communicate their needs through thought, turning brain waves into text or speech for the duration of the recovery process. But one of BrainBridge's most remarkable features is its ability to learn and adapt using cutting-edge AI. In fact, the robot's self-learning AI algorithms help it to avoid errors and adjust surgical plans in real time. Furthermore, by analyzing past procedures, BrainBridge is able to continually refine its techniques and improve post-operative care to ensure even better procedures and recoveries for future patients. And while BrainBridge may be a significant leap forward in medical science, it may also bring about a whole new species of human being, where the line between man and machine becomes completely blurred. Just imagine the next step of this technology, where humans could even attach their heads and brains to completely robotic bodies instead, thus gaining what will likely amount to a series of superhuman abilities. This cybernetic integration could revolutionize not just medicine, but also the way we think about human capabilities. Unlike traditional head transplants, this procedure would involve connecting a human head to a fully functional robotic body equipped with state-of-the-art technology. But why? Well, for starters, these robotic bodies will likely offer 4 specific advantages over biological bodies. Number 1. Enhanced strength and durability. Robotic bodies can be designed to be much stronger and more resilient than human bodies, allowing individuals to perform tasks that would be impossible for a regular human. Number 2. Longevity. While biological bodies age and deteriorate, robotic bodies could be maintained and upgraded, potentially extending a person's functional lifespan indefinitely. Number 3. Customization. Robotic bodies can be tailored to fit the specific needs and preferences of the individual, whether for enhanced mobility, specialized tasks, or even aesthetic choices. Number 4. Elimination of disease. Robotic bodies are immune to biological diseases, reducing the risk of illness and increasing overall health and well-being. And it would all work with a simple 5-step procedure. Step 1. Preparation. Similar to the traditional BrainBridge procedure, the process would begin by preparing the recipient by carefully cooling and prepping their head for detachment. Step 2. Severing and preservation. Using advanced imaging and surgical techniques, the head is detached from the original body while preserving vital structures like the spinal cord, blood vessels, and nerves. Step 3. Connection to robotic body. Finally, the head is then connected to a robotic body equipped with artificial systems designed to mimic biological functions, such as circulation, respiration, and sensory feedback. Step 4. Neural interface. Next, a sophisticated neural interface is established between the brain and the robotic body, which allows the brain to control the robotic body's movements and functions seamlessly. Step 5. Testing and calibration. Extensive testing and calibration are conducted to ensure that the brain can effectively communicate with the robotic body, which would most likely involve fine-tuning the neural connections and making any necessary adjustments. And some of the following superhuman abilities could be a direct result, starting with number 1, sensory feedback. The robotic body is equipped with sensors that provide real-time feedback to the brain, allowing the individual to experience sensations like touch and temperature. Number 2, AI integration. Artificial intelligence systems are integrated to assist with complex tasks and enhance cognitive functions, being able to learn and adapt to the individual's needs while improving the overall experience. Number 3, energy efficiency. The robotic body would be designed for optimal energy efficiency using advanced battery technology and renewable energy sources to ensure long-lasting performance beyond a human's typical 14 to 18-hour-long period. But one of the biggest questions surrounding this technology is what it means for human identity. If our consciousness can be transferred to a robotic body, what does it mean to be human? This raises complex ethical and philosophical questions about identity, consciousness, and the essence of humanity. Nevertheless, BrainBridge does appear to be pursuing human head transplants, but it's unclear when they will have their first test run. Altogether, though, this technology will definitely give BrainBridge a head start, as the head-to-head race for human longevity is only seeming to heat up. And they're keeping cool heads throughout the entire ordeal.
You see how you notice that they've already been practicing this for a while on dogs, which is just disgusting to me. This is not the only type of technology they have, but I digress. We'll go over that in another video. They have much more than
Yeah,
this.
I meant to mention the fact that they do believe that these heads will last for hundreds of years as long as the body is healthy.
Mhm.
And they've got plans for that too.
Anybody heard of Clonade? Anybody heard of all these celebrities talking about their first generation, second generation, third generation? Clonade is a real place. It is a real place, and we're about to show you the clip where they actually clone human beings and transfer their consciousness. But that's for the elites. That is for the very wealthy. Okay? And they've been doing that for at least 30, 40 years now. Okay. It's just now more popular. But this, they don't hide it. They don't lie about it. And people are like, yeah, ha ha ha. No, really. I did the research. Watch this.
Dolly the sheep was a sensation when she first appeared before the world. A scientific breakthrough, fascinating but also menacing. Dolly was cloned by taking a body cell from sheep A, fusing that cell's DNA with an egg cell with its nucleus removed from sheep B. This fused cell developed into an embryo, which was placed in the uterus of a surrogate mother, sheep C. The resulting lamb, in this case Dolly, is a clone of sheep A. These were Dolly's so-called siblings, identical sisters, all cloned from the same sheep.
There's a step change in our understanding of early development, which ultimately led several years later in 2006 to the discovery that you can actually induce somatic cells. These are sort of cells that belong to the body to become embryonic-like cells that has the potential to divide into other cell types.
This was Dolly's greatest legacy, advances in what we call stem cell research. The ultimate, but still elusive goal is to use cloning technology to create healthy tissues which can be transplanted to heal damaged cells and organs. But back in 1997, Dolly seemed to raise more frightening issues. If we can clone a sheep, many asked, why not a human being? Since then, scientists have cloned more than 20 species, including horses and household pets.
Explain that quickly one more time. Yes. So here at Psychosect, we produce 100% organically made human sleeves. Here is an example of the two. So the whole point of this is to have your conscious mind but in a different physical body. Let's just say if your child gets hit by a car and dies, you'd be able to retrieve him back but in a different physical being.
The city of Montreal in Canada. It's home to Buckminster Fuller's famous geodesic dome, as well as this futuristic Olympic sports stadium. Immigrants from all over the world have been welcomed here, and the province of Quebec prides itself on its open-minded attitudes. Montreal's a city that welcomes innovation, but now it's becoming the focus of a global debate on one of the most significant ethical conundrums ever to confront the world. It's the issue of human cloning, and the province is home to some of its most dedicated proponents.
I don't think we should allow it to manifest where it's actually cloned as a human. Just the cells itself may be a benefit, but not to the point where there's a person like yourself or myself.
Where did Canada come from? That's where I was cloned at. Story for another day. This guy right here is well known for his tracks Deaf to SoundCloud, Papa, and most recently his Blind for Love 2 EP, and will be releasing his highly anticipated mixtape Attack of the Clones this summer. Everybody make some noise for Kid Boo!
Where'd you grow up?
South Florida.
Okay. I guess you were born in Jersey?
Yeah. Originally, my first gen. I'm a second gen now. That's why you see the celebrity bursts say I'm born in Toronto, but that's false. My first gen was born in Jersey. However, I was cloned by Clonade in Canada. My model number is 0112568, if anyone wants to see the registration in Clonade.
Okay. So then you ended up in South Florida.
Washington Journal continues.
Well, we're going to continue our discussion of the concept of human cloning today. Joining us in our studio and testifying on the Hill today is Bridget Boisselier, who is scientific director for a private company called Clonade. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Sure. Tell us first what Clonade is and what the company is working on right now.
Okay, so Clonade is a private company. We founded that 4 years ago, got the fundings to really have lab last August. And so now we have 3 scientists working almost full-time in a lab here in the United States with the major goal for us to produce a human embryo by human cloning.
Why do you want to do it?
There are several reasons. The first one is that why am I doing it myself? It's just because I think I had to do it. 4 years ago when I heard all the establishment saying this is so bad and all these things, I said I have to do it and show that this is only a baby. A little baby, the belated twin of an individual, and that's it. It's not a monster, it's not all, what we have been hearing so many bad things about this baby. And so we decided to do that 4 years ago. Now we are on the verge to have this first.
Welcome to Clonade. Let's look at the services. Clonade is the world's leading provider of reproductive human cloning services. Eve, the first cloned baby, was born December 26, 2002, thanks to our team of highly skilled scientists. Since then, we've been able to help a number of patients have their own children through our cloning technology. Clonade can help you. If you're sterile and have lost hope of having a child of your dreams, if you're a homosexual and deeply desire a child who would carry your own genes, if you've just lost or are about to lose a beloved family member and would like to see an identical twin of that person begin a new life, if you're HIV positive and want to have a child that would be your own genetic twin without infecting either the baby or your partner with the virus, or if you simply just want to be cloned, whatever your reason may be. And then the next area gives you step-by-step what you do to go through the process to become a clone. The history of Clonade. Clonade, the first human cloning company in the world, was founded in February 1997 by Raul. and a group of investors who created Valiant Venture Corporation based in the Bahamas. In the first couple of years, Clonaid had already received enormous media coverage. However, due to the pressure mounted on the Bahama government by French journalists, Valiant Venture was canceled as government representatives were thinking the laboratories would be established on the Bahama island. Meanwhile, the list of serious potential customers had grown to more than 250 people. Therefore, during the year 2000, Raoul decided to hand over the Clonaid project to Dr. Bridget Boisler in order for her to start working on actually cloning the first human beings with a team of well-trained scientists. The doctor had a PhD degrees in physical and biomolecular chemistry. In her last job, she was a marketing director for a large chemical company in France. In the summer of 2000, an American couple that wanted to help develop this technology in order for them to have a baby contacted the doctor. They were the first major investors funding the equipment and the laboratory needed, and Clonaid's first human cloning laboratory was set up in early 2001. In the summer of 2001, following several visits from the U.S., government representatives in our facility, Clonaid, decided to pursue its human cloning project in another country where human cloning is legal. Now, there are many celebrities who claim to have been cloned at the Clonaid laboratories. First generation, second generation, third generation.
Okay, I wanted to bring up too the fact that the Chinese believe that they are descendants of the dragon, or at least the elite cabal does. And they now have a chimera dragon with a bird head. Not only that, they believe that this is, or maybe it will, put them in the forefront. They want to be there anyway. They want to lead the world. And they have found a lost world. It reminds me of that old show. What was that called? Land of the Lost?
Land of the Lost, yeah.
Yeah. But in this place, the animals and the insects are enormous. And not only that, even like the blades of grass are 7 feet tall and 2 feet wide. Can you imagine?
Yes, absolutely, Shelley. I can't imagine because I've been there.
Right.
Anybody who watches our shows knows that I'm one of those weird ones. I've been abducted. I've been into those underground places. Let me explain how that works. First of all, our top people above our government, they are in contact with these entities, okay? They are a race of beings that are of the fallen angels. There are different races of them, okay? But the way this works is there's portals, like for instance, CERN. CERN is directly connected to the supercomputer. Well, let me lay it out for you. There's the supercomputer. It goes directly to the satellite that goes directly to CERN. And then all the other hadron colliders, okay? And they're opening doorways, but they're doing this all over the world. They have ones that we don't even know about. They've been opening doorways and communicating with these beings for a very long time. Now, where the time is different there, let me explain that. First of all, in the heavens, there is no time. Where our God is, there is no time. In the second heaven, which is what I call, and this is what I used to go through in the UFOs to go to these places, there's a space in between there that has no time. This is where I call that highway of the angels, fallen angels and angels, but it's also where the demons dwell. Okay, when they're in there, there is no time. And this is a doorway. This in-between place is a doorway, and then they can pass into another place. Okay, in this other place, time goes slower. It goes different. When I was there for months. But when they brought me back, it was only 15 minutes to an hour, 2 hours, whatever it was. But I could be there for months. And then when I come back, it's like I had never left. That place that they go to, that underworld. It also is
Yeah.
beyond. It isn't just under the ground. It's
Yeah.
beyond as well. I'm not going to get into that. We'll go into that another time. They are literally creating an army, and they've been doing it for a very long time. And I've seen them. They are not like the normal grays or the tall blondes. These things are like the days of Noah. They're huge, they're tall, they can control you from 6 feet to 8 feet away. These things are horrific. In Revelation, where it talks about the giants returning and fulfilling God's wrath, God always uses the enemy to fulfill his prophecy. He uses their tactics against them every time. But the thing is, they are coming back. They have been talking through those doorways, those portals, to Native American tribes all over the world, not just in the United States, saying we're returning soon. We're coming back really soon. That with the Hopi Indians and a lot of other tribes, they have stated this. They are coming back. They have been spotted in the mountains. They've been spotted in different places. They're surfacing, not just them, but their chimeras.
Yes.
Things called dogmen, things, Bigfoot, all these things, they are multi-dimensional. They're coming in and out of our dimension. Now, when God takes his hand of protection off this world, because it's gone completely over to Satan and the New World Order and all the things they're doing, and they come on this earth and wreak havoc, people will die of fear for seeing
Yeah.
what comes onto this earth.
Yeah, I believe so.
Also, hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, go.
But, you know, God even tells, you know, warns that people still won't repent of their sorcery and, you know, their
Even after all that,
idolatry.
Yeah, they just cuss it at God. But it just goes to prove that when God says some people just love darkness, not a, that is just
or they think they do.
until they think they do now, yeah. But
And
they
he's
are
too loving
drawn
to
to the darkness.
Yeah, he's a loving God and he's a gentleman. He's not going to force somebody into heaven and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I put you here and you didn't want to be here," you know. And plus, you know, he doesn't dwell with sin. And I mean, how would you transform somebody like that who's always rejected you and doesn't want any, you know, doesn't want any transformation, or they don't think they do, you know?
They don't accept the
People
free
think
gift
this
of
is
salvation.
cute. Yeah, somebody, yeah, the other day told me that they would be the first one to do that brain bridge and take the brain and all that and live for hundreds of years. And I said, well, I'll wait on an upgrade from God. Thank you. I'm waiting for the upgrade from
Hard
above.
pass.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't think I want to live here for hundreds of years. Thank
Not
you.
like this.
No.
It's
No.
getting worse. The
If
depravity.
I feel like any worse later, I'm going to be like,
Like, look at the depravity of the world right now. It's so gross. It's so demented. It is so perverted. Could you imagine another 20 years of this? Look at the perversion
Oh,
that
look how
increased.
gross
Just that
it is
alone.
now.
In the last 20 years, the perversion, the amount of
Yes.
perversion that it has increased.
Yes.
You know, with the
Yeah.
Alphabet Club and you know,
Yeah.
pedophiles having rights now. You know, it's just
Yeah, and now they want to bring bestiality into it, or even just being animals themselves. They believe,
Ew.
I believe I'm an animal.
Furries.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I
a
know that's
furry.
tacky.
Or the
Maybe it
girl
is.
that
It's
married the
really,
tree named Bill.
it
There was
sounds
a
like
woman that
mental
married
illness to me. Yeah.
a woman that's mental. That mental illness is demonic. There was a woman
Yeah, it
that
is.
literally married a tree she named Bill legally.
Wow.
Did you not?
Yeah. That's
And how
unbelievable.
did they get the tree?
I mean, I never would have imagined back 20 years ago. But I'd be seeing some of these things. I'm like, wow. I mean, what do you even say? I mean, I'm just blown away. And they don't want you to have an opinion on it. I mean, if you do, you're, you know,
a hate monger.
Yeah. 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 You're narrow minded. I mean,
you're just in the
really. I mean,
yeah.
Even the emojis now have a woman with a beard on her face. I'm like, what?
Oh, it's so weird. Yeah.
Yeah, you can take me out doing that. Oh, wow. It's like I'm just going, what? Sad,
I'm going
sad,
down a rabbit
sad.
hole. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That was
it's
bad.
sad. I know. And then people are just disgusting. Some of the things they say, and they don't care who's there. They don't care if it's women, old women, kids. They post whatever they want to. Filth.
Just disgusting. Just disgusting.
Yes. Perversion.
Remember, the worst you'd hear is like cuss words, you know?
Yes. I
But they
remember
were still
being shocked by
respectful.
that as a kid hearing the F word.
Yeah, but they would still be respectful to their elders. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. But with their friends, cussing up a storm, you know. But
Right.
that
But
was like the worst of it. That or cutting school, you know.
yeah.
Having sex before marriage. A few of us, But the world is so different now. I mean, you're a weirdo if you gonna wait till you're married. What's wrong with you?
Right. Or if you have morals or ethics. And I'm not saying there are some really sweet people who do have morals and ethics, and I meet them all the time. I mean, I meet some dear sweet people, and I'm sorry, and I pray for those who are lost. And it's just mind blowing to me how many witches I run across online. How many have friended me on different social media, and I'm like, I can't follow you and post the things you post. I'm against that, and I pray for them, but I don't think they understand that's not being judgmental of them. It's that we don't put ourselves in that place of crossing that line. I mean, you're supposed to expose evil, not say, okay, well, let me jump right in there with you and pretend like you're not doing it. And I'm the kind of person that I hate to hurt people's feelings. But that's where you have to draw a line.
Can't hit your wagon to a witch. That means
Right.
anything that person does, that reflects on you. When you hit
Well,
your
it opens
wagon
the
to a
door
witch.
when you're making it okay, or saying, you're indifferent to it, and I'm not. I know what it does. Mine. People, your cell phone is not your friend. I mean, we all know that, I'm sure, but they're constantly taking our picture, getting our fingerprints, our thumbprints. They're linking it to Elon's Neuralink.
That is connected to the D-Wave, it's connected to the quantum computer.
Yes, all of that is being linked up as we speak.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, the other day told me that they would be the first one to do that brain bridge and take the brain and all that and live for hundreds of years. And I said, well, I'll wait on an upgrade from God. Thank you. I'm waiting for the upgrade from above. Yeah, no, thank you. I don't think I want to live here for hundreds of years. Thank you.
Not like this.
No.
It's getting worse. The depravity.
I feel like any worse later. I'm going to be like,
look at the depravity of the world right now. It's so gross. It's so demented. It is so perverted. Could you imagine another 20 years of this? Look at the perversion that increased.
Look how gross
Just that
it is
alone.
now.
In the last 20 years, the perversion, the amount of perversion that it has increased.
Yes.
With the Alphabet Club and pedophiles having rights now. It's just
now they want to bring bestiality into it, or even just being animals themselves. They believe. I believe I'm an animal.
So that mental illness is demonic. There was a woman that
is.
literally married a tree she named Bill, legally.
Wow.
Did you not?
Yeah. That's
And how did they get the tree?
I mean, I never would have imagined back 20 years ago. But I'd be seeing some of these things. I'm like, wow. I mean, what do you even say? I mean, I'm just blown away. And they don't want you to have an opinion on it. I mean, if you do, you're
a hate monger.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not being judgmental of them. It's that we don't put ourselves in that place of crossing that line. I mean, you're supposed to expose evil, not say, okay, well, let me jump right in there with you and pretend like you're not doing it. But that's where you have to draw a line. We're saying, you're indifferent to it, and I'm not. I know what it does. You know my testimony and what it does in your own life. There's just no room to stand on that line or get a toe over it.
Yep, not even a little toe, because the enemy will come flooding in, and it sends a bad message to other people too, other Christians. We're an example. We're a light on the hill. If we are not reflecting Jesus, then we're being hypocrites, and we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. We really can't be wishy-washy. We can't be in the middle. And this is the time, this is the period I think we're in for a lot of Christians, because I see him refining so many of us right now. I know he's doing it to me.
Me too.
And he's making you.
He's drawing a line.
He's drawing a line, and he's saying, "This is it. Get over here and stop playing around over here, because things are about to get serious. You better
Jesus said he would spew the lukewarm out. Yes,
this is it."
Well, we want to be under God's hand of protection too.
Absolutely.
That's key. I mean, we want, just like, when he brought the Israeli or the Hebrew people out of Egypt, we want to have his protection, the blood of the Lamb. We don't want to be outside hanging over the fence saying, woohoo, here we go.
Yep, exactly.
We have to be ready. We have to be following the Lord, and we have to be living a certain way by his leading and his help. And the Holy Spirit helps us and he guides us if we just listen. But he's patient, and he does correct sometimes too. That's hard.
But that means hard. He loves you.
Because he loves us. Yes.
He corrects those he loves. And I
Yes.
just piggyback off of something she said and add something to it. That line he draws is for our own protection. Because when you open yourself up to sin, you're opening up a doorway to the enemy. And then he can't keep that hedge of protection around you where you have those open doors. He comes flooding in. And once he floods in, then you're under attack. Now, right now, we're coming into a time where we need to be right on point with the Lord. We need to be in righteousness. We need to be in right standing with the Lord. That means if you have idols in your house, if you're living in sin of any kind, you better get a handle on it, because the enemy's going to use it against you. And you need to fortify yourself with the hedge of protection. It is a very real thing. And I've seen it in my own life, because I can see into the spirit. Whenever I open up the smallest, tiniest door, the enemy floods in. So just know that.
Yes. And anything that I know the Holy Spirit's led me to get things out of my life over time. He's had me remove CDs and old, movies, and just different things, different objects, things people have given me. And if there's a question about it, I'd rather be safe than sorry and just go ahead and remove it. I'm not certain what he's telling me, because there are things that can be cursed objects. They can be charged with demonic.
And it may not even look like anything. You don't know. And these are things you can pray about too. Pray to Lord, reveal to me any open doors to the enemy. He'll show you. I know he's done it with me plenty of times. So yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, yeah.
And careful about gifts. Get people sending you gifts or wanting to give you gifts. That's a questionable thing, because they can have demonic attachment.
I had that happen to me recently. Somebody very close to me actually put a curse on something that they gave me. And I kept holding on to it because it was somebody I loved very much. I loved even my enemies, just pointing this out. I love people no matter who they are, whether they're Christian or not. And I will still give them love. I will still minister to them the best way I know how. But we can come under attack. And something what was given to me by somebody I will not mention, put a curse on it. I kept holding on to it because it was sentimental to me. But God showed me the second I looked at it. No. There's something on this. And I just kept holding on to it. And I had so many bad things happen once I got rid of it and put the hedge of protection around my house, around me, everyone in my family, my house, and my property again. I had no more issues in that regard.
Yeah, and it does make a difference too to walk the land ask, God leads and you can pray about it, but go out and just
Bless it.
ask him to, pray over some oil. I believe it's more symbolic than anything,
course.
but it's an act of faith to go out and anoint the doorposts and the gates and even your windows in your home, your bedroom, your
devices.
And it's like I said, it's an act of faith and just praying and walking through and declaring. And that's not, that is an act of faith, but I believe that God really protects those places where we pray and ask him to sanctify them, and because they belong to the Lord, that it's holy ground.
Like she said, it's visual for us. It's an act of faith. We don't need to do that. We could sit in our bed and go put a hedge of protection around me, my family, my house, my property. But I do occasionally go around my entire property, every corner of my house, all corners of my property, and every single device I have, because these are scryers. These computers, these phones, these computers, the power of the air works through it, but also Christ can work through it too. Okay. As we are doing right now, but we do have to bless each and every one of these devices, because there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that we have was created by God first. Okay. And we don't have anything that doesn't, all good things come from God, but Satan likes to take it, twist it, and manipulate it. So we need to pray and anoint these things pretty regularly. There's just so much that can come through. Well, it looks like we've ran out of time.
Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week.
Shalom, shalom. And
shalom, shalom.
Make sure you tune in, because we're going to be talking about some of the devices and the beast system that they have already set up and ready to go. When they start the new world order and rein in their last bit of control. So please tune in. We'll see you next week. God bless you.
Lord Jesus, I am the devil's prey, so I beg of you, please just stay.